All right, stand by. Hey folks, thanks so much for joining me here on Wave Now. I'm Myra Ansari. Hope you're having a great day so far. I'm really excited to introduce you to our next guest here because he plays such a critical role in our community. The president and CEO of Norton Healthcare and Norton Children's, Russ Cox, is here to tell us about an exciting thing that you want to hear from people, because we know as a community we grow by listening to others, and that's what you want to hear from folks in our community about an upcoming listening session, because you have a big project coming up. And we've told our viewers about this, but you all are expanding and growing. Tell us about the new adventure that you all are taking on.
Well, first, thanks so much, Myra, for having us on. And we are really excited about what we think this new facility can do for children, not only in our city, but in our state and in the entire region. And this is really an endeavor that we're undertaking. 150 acres that is perfectly clean and gives us a clean slate to do something that nobody else has done in the country. And that is to have an entire campus, not just a building or not just a few buildings, but an entire 150-acre campus that's wholly dedicated to children. And the beauty of this is it's very focused on helping children get better, but it's also focused on providing support and service for parents and extended family to be a part of that process. So we're going to have all kinds of services on this new campus, be it hotels, restaurants, be it fitness centers, you name it. And one of the things that we want to do is to get it right. And the way we get it right, as you said, is to ask questions and listen. And we've had these listening sessions, probably 6 of these throughout the state and region, and have gotten incredible feedback. So we really do value what people's thoughts are. We've had some success with this. We had quite a few listening sessions when we were giving thought to Norton West Louisville Hospital. And we heard so many wonderful things that we were able to incorporate, not only into the design of the facility, but into the services that would be offered there. So our listening sessions are designed to get everybody involved in telling us what they'd like to see at a facility that is all focused towards children.
All right, I want to show folks some video right now because we covered, when you all covered the story when you made the announcement, this is going to be a campus that's going to sit on 150 acres in Jeffersontown. So this is kind of like what it looked like when we were in the warmer time period. But tell us where exactly this is located. It's right off of the highway. It's very easy to access this property that you're looking at.
It absolutely is. And for those of us who are familiar with these surroundings, Poplick Road is right in this vicinity. If you think of the parallel of I-64 headed towards Lexington, right before you get to I-265, which we all know is the Gene Snyder, the juxtaposition of those two here, we're situated somewhat in the corner of that. But 150 acres in Jefferson County was not easy to locate. So we were thrilled to be able to find this in a place that had such good arteries of access. And we believe that, as I said, this is not just something for us here in Louisville, Kentucky. We certainly want to make sure we take care of them, but we've got a great facility downtown now that has taken care of children in our community for over 100 years and will continue to. We're not moving, we're growing. The facility that we have will stay there. This will be a additional facility that hopefully will have some reach out in the state and hopefully have a whole lot of reach in the region. And we need to ensure that all children in Kentucky and Indiana have a place very close to home where they can receive world-class care. So it gives us the opportunity to build some services from scratch. And that's why these listening sessions, again, are so very important, because we have to get it right. And we're hearing from grandparents, we're hearing from parents, we're hearing from kids that are getting services. We're hearing from school teachers. We're hearing from the local politicians. We want to hear everybody's point of view to make certain that we're doing the right things. You know, it's really kind of interesting, Mara, when you think about this, because it will take us a few years to get this built. We're going to listen. We're going to do the design, incorporate what we heard, and then we're going to get about the business of building it. But theoretically, the parents of children that will be using this new facility are in high school right now. And I know that's hard for us to believe, but It really is the case. So we have to be very, very cognizant of the fact that we don't want to build a new hospital based on the way that we believe as parents and as caregivers right now that it is currently being done. We want to go out and have those conversations with high school kids right now about their views on technology, their views on facility, their views on how care should be delivered. Because how a high school student views technology, views use of the phone, views use of virtual sorts of tools is way different than how this generation feels about it. So we're having to kind of force ourselves to go to a standard deviation ahead. So I really, in these listening sessions, are encouraging, let's get kids there, let's get high school, college people there, let's talk about how they would envision this to make certain that we're not building a new old hospital.
That puts a lot of that into perspective, Russ. And I can say that I'm a parent. I have two kids, and I've had to rely on Norton Children's when we've had emergencies. And I cannot tell you how blessed I believe that we are in our community, that we have this in our backyard. You look at people that have to drive hours and hours in really difficult times, and we are so lucky that we have Norton Children's here, the staff, the nurses, the doctors, the entire team that helps people, because we turn to you all when we're in that moment of panic and crisis, what feels like for us the worst time in our life, right? And you all have a team that really goes above and beyond, that comforts families.
You're so right, and I appreciate those comments. I think that people who take care of children are called to do it. You don't just happen into a career where you're taking care of pediatric patients. This is something that you feel you were supposed to do with your life. And that's what we have at Norton Children's. We have a whole lot of people who certainly see this as their why and chose to do this because they wanted to be of service to others and make certain that the needs of especially children were well taken care of. I think that it's really an important aspect that is overlooked sometimes, though, of when you have a great children's hospital in your community, it serves as a great economic development tool as well. Because as businesses look at communities to relocate their business in or start a new business in, one of the things that they are very concerned about is what is the ability, what is the acumen for this community to help deal with children? Because there are many families who are going to be relocating there, and they want to make certain that they have these kinds of services available. So we believe that with the current Norton Children's Hospital that we have downtown, with the additional facility that we're going to be building in J-Town, that it's going to have an economic development impact on our region that's going to be very positive.
Tell me about the listening session. So that is coming up on the February 7th, which is just in a couple of days. How do folks take part in this? Is it something virtual I can jump into? Is it something I have to be at a place? How are you all offering this to folks?
We're February 17th. It's going to be right around the corner. And this is a virtual session. As I mentioned earlier, that we've had in-person sessions, probably 6 of those now, where we've been out in the state and the region, and typically they've been at elementary schools and places where communities do congregate. But we recognize that not everybody has the time nor the ability to give us an hour and a half of their physical presence and time. So we've decided to have a virtual listening session where you can just sit in the comfort of your home via Zoom, via whatever vehicle that you have to join in, and be a part of these listening sessions and be able to talk about what you would like to see in this new children's facility. So it's very easy. We'd like for you to register at nortonchildrens.com. You can follow the links there to the listening session. It's February 17th. I believe it's from 7 to 8. And we'll stick around as long as people have something to say, because we really do appreciate this. Now, we do ask you as well to fill out a written survey. It's very important to us to be able to empirically look at the data and make sure that we get everybody's opinion. We'd like to get over 10,000 of those surveys, maybe more. And right now we're at about 4,200. So hopefully you can dial into the virtual listening session. But if you can't, please try to go on site again at nortonchildrens.com and fill out that survey, because it really is important that we get as much input as we can before we start this design process.
And for folks that are joining us, and you heard Russ mention nortonchildrens.com, in this stream, I've also posted a link where you can, I like the name of this effort that you have. It's called Norton Children's Follow the Balloon virtual listening session. And you probably saw it here in our stream, the big balloon that you all had out there. It's kind of it's your logo that we see a lot with Norton Children's, but this is how folks can get more information and register for the event. So just click on this link that I have at the description here. You can easily sign up. Russ, tell me some of the feedback that you got in your previous in-person your in-person event from folks. What did they want to see?
Well, Mara, the pictures you showed are beautiful, and I remember that day. It was really hot. It looks pretty good with the weather we've been having. Those hot days seem like a great thing, and I remember those longingly. But the weather is improving. But as you can see from those pictures, there's so much beautiful landscape and nature and natural elements of nature that already exist out there. And one of the things we're hearing in the listening session is to preserve as many of those things as we can, because of the important role that nature and that natural setting plays in healing and plays in the overall attitude and sort of feeling that people have about coming to a campus like this. So right off the bat, as people are seeing what's available for us to develop and how we're going to develop it, they're encouraging us to incorporate all of those things into the design of the entire campus. Now, as we've said, 150 acres is a lot of land. So we want to preserve as much of that as we can, and we want to just make sure that we're infusing it into the design of the whole place. So that's one thing. But when we get right down to the services, what we're hearing over and over again, whether it be from parents, grandparents, children themselves, high school students, people who serve in political roles within their communities, is a strong desire for us to have a very vibrant and meaningful mental behavioral health component. And that's coming out over and over again. And I think that we would all expect that to be the case, but hearing it as passionately as we're hearing it is certainly something that we have our ears wide open to. There's a whole lot of great efforts that have been made around mental and behavioral health for pediatric and adolescent patients. Sadly, it hasn't been as effective as what I believe that the people that we're hearing from would like for it to be, and it hasn't been as accessible. Many times parents and grandparents feel like they have no place to turn. So we want to make sure that we listen to that. We want to make sure that we have a significant component on this campus early on that begins to answer some of those desires and needs for people. And we certainly understand that. We've gone through some unprecedented times. When you look back at the pandemic and the isolation that children felt during that time, and so many of the outcomes that have happened since then, we certainly get that. And we have to all be very understanding that we have to be contemporary in how we look at the treatment of children as it relates to those things. We need the best minds, the best researchers, the best physicians, the best nurses, really working together to come up with new ways to really reach in and make a difference in mental health. So those are a lot of the main themes that we're hearing there. We continue to hear a desire for ease of use, and boy, is healthcare guilty of not being easy to use. So we want to assure that whatever we build and how we build it has a process in mind that is frictionless. And now my vision of that can go a lot of ways, but one right off the bat I can see is that you come to this facility and park in a garage, and that's the last time that you have to worry about anything, that you immediately use your phone and a QR code to go to an autonomous vehicle that takes you to whatever building on this campus you need to be at. There's no more stress or worry about where am I supposed to go? How do I walk to get there? When you get to the building, you use that QR code again. It verbally walks you to where you need to be in this building and tells you what exam room to go in. It's already done all of your registration. It's already got all that information that we always try to collect early on. And the first person that you see once you get in that exam room is the practitioner who's going to help you walk through why you're there. So all of that means you don't have to worry about anything other than your child's care and making sure that you're supporting. You don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about how you ambulate across a campus. You don't have to worry about getting to a desk and having to produce all the documentation. So when we talk about this, what people are telling us is be easier to use. So we need to make certain that we figure out what those processes are that look like easier to use, and then build a facility that can support those processes.
I want to give you a big kudos for recognizing the importance of mental health. We try to do that here at Wave. We've partnered with you on that many times,
Absolutely.
just because it is so important to talk about what we're going through. And I'm so proud that that is the feedback that you all are getting, that we need to offer more resources for our children to get the help that they need. Can you talk a little bit more about what you hope that will look like? What if a parent is struggling with a child is struggling, what can they do to come to you, and what do you hope for to give that family?
Yeah, it really is a very broad spectrum when we consider this. And let me just say right off the bat that probably 3 out of 5 children that come to us with acute chronic conditions, be it asthma, anything else that you can think of, also have a co-condition around some mental or behavioral health that may or may not have been previously diagnosed. So, we're seeing it in conjunction with other acute sort of conditions. And we're of the belief that if we can help solve some of those from a mental and behavioral perspective, we can accelerate helping them deal with the chronic conditions. So that's one aspect of this that I want to make sure that we cover. And when I say a broad spectrum, there's a lot of people in our community whose children, unfortunately, are dealing with eating disorders. And they feel like they're scared to death. And we understand that. I have a great sense of empathy, because there's a lot of things that scare us, but having your child go through this, and we want to deliver programs that take care of obviously things that anxiety. I mean, everybody that we talk to has someone in their family or someone in their extended family who's dealing with some sort of anxiety. It's just the way the world is right now. So we want to go from everything from those specific niche sort of programs of eating disorders all the way up to programs that are dealing with anxiety that so many people have. Maybe it's depression, maybe it's bipolar, but I would hope that for us to be the world-class facility that we strive to be, and to be responding to the needs of the community and listening to what we heard, that we have the ability to take care of and provide services for children for about any mental or behavioral health issue that they may have. And if we can't, that we have the ability to connect with resources. As I mentioned earlier, where the world's headed from a virtual perspective means that we're going to need to also test ourselves on making certain that we have connectivity with the world's best in any field and have the ability to connect with them virtually to help patients in any way possible. But we want this to be a hub where parents no longer fret over, I don't know where to turn next, and I'm scared to death for my adolescent or my pediatric child who is experiencing these symptoms, and it doesn't seem to be getting better, and I don't seem to be able to find the right place to talk to. And I'll tell you another layer of this when I talk about the spectrum here. Parents need that mental and behavioral support too. When you're taking care of a chronically ill child, or with a child with cancer, a child with neurological issues, it has a lot of wear and tear on you as a parent, as a caregiver.
Yes.
So I want this campus to also provide help to families and service for families to be able to cope during this time, because the family needs to be a part of helping and supporting that child, and we don't want them to have to deal with these issues alone. And we certainly know that it exists in families when you have a child who's ill.
Absolutely. All right, Russ. Again, this virtual learning session, where the way that you can give feedback is happening on February 17th. If you're wondering, oh, how do I do this? You can easily do it. Just go to nortonchildrens.com. I've also posted a link here on this stream. You can click on it, register, and please don't think that, oh, well, my suggestion is just kind of lame. It's stupid. It probably doesn't matter. Anything can help, right? There are things that I'm sure that you all came across when you did this before. You're like, I didn't think of that. That's a good suggestion.
Myra, every time I walk into Norton West Louisville Hospital, I think of a listening session, because what we heard over and over again was, please, whatever you do in this hospital, build one obvious entry where I come in. Because I feel like when I go to any other hospital, there's 17 doors, there's all kinds of different places. Can you please just have one place, have it be very, obvious, and have a high ceiling so you feel like that you've got space there. And that's exactly what we did. And it has been so well received, and there's so less confusion about where I go when I come to Norton West Louisville Hospital. So you're absolutely right. Every bit of feedback that we get is very important. And if you've got a thought, if you've got an opinion, even if you don't have a child or a grandchild, this is the community's facility. We want to hear what you have to say.
Absolutely. Russ, I appreciate all that you do. It's been a wonderful time chatting with you. I feel like we could probably go on and on about this because this is so important. You'd be like, wow, she kept me hostage here for way longer. But thank you for doing this, because really we have to lean on one another and learn from one another. We all have different perspectives, right? We all are different and our struggles are different. So when we sit down and listen to one another, we can have a better world for sure.
Well, we need to get it right for the next generation of children too, because this world's tough, but they're resilient. We just need to make sure that we encase them with the ability to cope, with the ability to know how to access medical care, and to make sure that they're aware of that there is help available.
Russ, anything that I'm not asking you that you think folks need to know about?
I'll just reiterate, Myra, that if you can't be a part of one of the listening sessions, and if you can't be a part of the virtual, please go on and fill out a survey for us. It will be just so helpful for us to have your thoughts and input. And we always welcome it. And that would be my one request. If you heard any of this today, find a way to communicate with us, either attending there or filling out the survey. It would be very helpful.
All right, Russ, thank you so much for all that you do. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Again, you can find that link to that virtual learning session, listening session that's happening on February 17th. It's called Follow the Balloon Virtual Listening Session. And it won't take very long at all. It's a great way to find out what's going on with Norton Children's and how you can give your input and we can grow better as a community. Russ, thank you again.
Thank you so much, Myra. Appreciate it.
All right. I'm Myra Ansari. Have a great day.